Hey, I got something to talk to you about before we go any further into this video. And it's really important. It's some deep stuff. The truth is, we have to have a DTR. Now, if you haven't heard what a DTR is, it's called Determine the Relationship. What are we? Are we going somewhere? Do I need to buy you flowers on Valentine's Day or send you chocolates? I just don't know. I've been making videos on this channel for years now, and we don't have a name for our little group here, our community that we've built of filmmakers and photographers and videographers. I just want to know what to call you. A lot of times I start my videos by saying, hey filmmakers, or hey guys. But not all of you fit into those boxes and categories. So leave a comment down below. What do you think we should call this community here? The Chadwinners? Winners. I like that. What's up, winners? That's funny. Okay, so I don't know, maybe I just figured it out live right here. Now that we've figured that out, I mean, can I just finish the video? Are we done? That's all I wanted to know. No, that's not true. I want to talk about this lens. This is the Viltrox 56mm f1.4 lens, and it takes some really impressive photos and videos, and I want to show you what I got with it. So let's get into it now. This is actually the third lens that I've reviewed on this channel from Viltrox, and I've been really impressed with the glass that they've been making recently. The last one I reviewed was their 23mm f1.4 lens, also X-mount for Fuji cameras. Now, this lens being a 56mm f1.4 lens, it definitely has a much more shallow depth of field than the 23mm, so that creamy bokeh is just gorgeous and so apparent on this. I mean, look at all that glass. It has a huge front element there, so it does fantastic in low light and giving you those beautiful, gorgeous bokeh balls. Now, before I go any more in depth into the tech specs and everything around this, I want to actually show you the results of the lens, because really that's what matters most. So let's watch some example footage that I got with it right now. Now, all the footage you just watched was filmed on the Fujifilm X-T4 at 60 frames per second, recorded externally to the Atomos Ninja V in ProRes 422. Now, I chose to shoot everything in 60 frames per second and then slow it down to 24 frames per second, so 40% speed in the timeline, because I was shooting everything handheld. So that was the best way to smooth out this footage and make it look a lot better and not have all those jitters and shakes. And with this lens, there's no optical stabilization built in, so I wasn't gonna get any help there. And I actually turned off IBIS in this camera because I found that the internal stabilization on the X-T4 is pretty unimpressive. It really ruins a lot of my shots a lot of the time when it's on, because it's warped and the edges do these weird things and the background just looks crazy. So I just can't use it. Now, speaking of autofocus, that's one place where this lens could definitely improve, especially on the video side. So if you want to use continuous autofocus with this lens, you're not gonna have a lot of luck with it, honestly. So if you wanna just chuck this thing on a gimbal, keep your subject in focus and move around and everything like that, I wouldn't rely on it because it's just not accurate enough. It hunts a lot. But to be fair, that's not all the lens's fault. A lot of the issues with autofocus come from the Fujifilm X-T4. Even with their firmware updates, it hasn't gotten that good, especially for continuous autofocus. When it comes to the photo side of this lens, autofocus works just as you would expect it to. It does a great job of getting your subject in focus. Now, when it comes to the actual focus ring on this lens, it's very smooth. It turns like butter, no issues, no weird resistance or clunkiness to it at all. It's a really good, smooth focus ring. But I will say this is a focus by wire lens. So it takes a little bit of work to get used to focusing with it, because if I turn it one way, it's not always going to focus to the same spot. It may focus to somewhere else. On this, I found that I actually have to spin the focus wheel like full 360 or maybe even beyond to go from my minimum focus distance to my maximum infinity focus distance. Now on the X-T4, there is the ability to change the focus ring from linear to non-linear. And you'd think that that would solve the problem or be something that kind of helps you adjust the focus ring on this. But in reality, with playing with the two options there, I didn't have any better results between the two. Now, the other ring on this lens is the aperture control. And I actually love that a lot of the X-mount lenses have aperture control on them, because it allows you to get that real manual feel of changing your aperture, even though this is completely electronic. And you can actually see that if I change the aperture with this, on the lens, nothing happens. It's not stopping down or changing at all, because it's completely electronic. It's like focus by wire, but for the aperture, I guess you could say. Now, the other marking on the aperture is this A, and that is actually for automatic. So obviously, if you set it to A, it'll adjust the aperture automatically for you with your lighting conditions. Now, that's not something that personally I would use, but maybe it's something that would be useful for photographers. The front thread size is 52 millimeters, just like it is on the 23 millimeter lens. So if you want to throw a filter on either one of them, it'll definitely work. The minimum focus distance with this lens is 2 feet, so you can actually get pretty close to your subjects and still keep them in focus, but not as close as you can on the 23 millimeter, which gets you as close as 1 foot. The overall build quality of the lens is really impressive. It's pretty much an all metal housing, so it feels really sturdy and good in the hand. There's no cheap plastic or anything on it. It actually feels like a really premium piece of glass. Now, another thing to note is this lens is not weather sealed. So if you're gonna be shooting out in any rain, drizzle, snow, whatever it is, you just gotta be careful to not get this thing wet. Fujifilm also makes their own 56 millimeter lens that opens up to f1.4 as well. It's $1,000. So it's pretty much 3 times the cost of this lens, which at the time of filming is only $330 US. The lens weighs only 0.639 pounds, so it's pretty lightweight, small, and compact, which is fantastic for travel and gimbal work. It comes with a fully metal lens hood, and it mounts nice and firmly, so you don't have to worry about it getting knocked off. It really locks into place. There are some actually pretty good coatings on this as well to help control those lens flares. So let's take a look at this lens flare test here in the studio with the flashlight, and you can see how it does at different apertures with lens flaring. Now let's take a look at the rack focus test I did with this lens, and honestly, it's pretty difficult to do a really accurate rack focus with this lens, because when you're going from pretty much minimum focus distance to infinity, you just have to spin this focus ring so far to go from one end to the other that it just takes forever. Now let's take a look at this other test where we see the bokeh balls. They're definitely really round, nice, and creamy in the center of the lens, but as you kind of get to the outer edges on the left and right, you can see that the bokeh balls start to kind of cat eye. Now let's take a look at a handful of photos that I shot with this lens, and most everything was shot at about f1.4 to f2.8, and I was using the monochromatic feature of the X-T4, so that's why a lot of these images are in black and white. All right, let's check it out. I was really impressed with the photos that this lens takes. Now, I don't do a lot of photography work anymore, but the X-T4 and these different lenses honestly have been really getting me back into photography. So I've just been kind of bringing it to family events and on trips and little adventures and things, and just finding that I'm picking up this camera to do photography a lot more than I used to. So who's this lens for, and should you buy it? Well, if you're shooting on X-mount cameras and you want to add a 50mm lens to your setup, I definitely think it's worth it, because it's the most affordable 50mm lens that you can get in the X-mount system that opens up to f1.4. Like I said earlier, the Fuji version is $1,000, so there's huge cost savings. So yeah, I can definitely recommend it if you want to add a nice portrait lens to your setup. And if you're interested in picking one up, definitely check out the links in the description below. And I want to say a special thanks to the folks over at Viltrox for sending this lens out for a review. They didn't pay me to say any of this or see the video before posting it. All right, winners, if you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe right now because I have a ton more videos coming out in shooting, editing, lighting, gear reviews, everything like that, and you don't want to miss it. All right, I'll see you in the next video.